Hey everyone, this is going to be a video showing you how to do the Cornell notes. This is probably the first time you've heard of Cornell notes, or one of the first times you've heard of Cornell notes. But I want to show you how you can tackle this very efficiently and to get the most out of the information in the chapter. So down here that it says Cornell notes directions, the first thing is to flip through the chapter. So I'm going to be demonstrating this using chapter 1. New World of Many Cultures. So that is, I have my AMSCO open here. So if I jump down to page 2, now what I could very simply do is just go to a new world and it'll take me right to the chapter. Now, just a quick note about the AMSCO book. So at the beginning of each period, or we're going to be calling them units, they're going to give you an overview, a perspective about the period, the historical period, and what's called an alternate view. So in history, we often consider like when things start, when things end, and why what is special about 1491, what is special about 1607. So historians make that decision, but they chunk out our units this way, and it gives us some ideas and thematic frameworks to work off of. So in any case, this is just the introductory section. So here's a new world of many cultures. It starts out with a quote, a beginning paragraph. Notes the first thing it tells you to do is to flip through the chapter. So I see cultures of Central and South America, cultures of North America. I see a gigantic map. Text. Expanding trade. Christopher Columbus, I know that guy. Spanish exploration, another map. French claims, Dutch claims, French, Dutch, New Mexico, Texas, Spanish. I've been practicing how to pronounce this, although Valladolid, Valladolid debate. English, French, Native Americans, and then we hit historical perspectives. And this is the end of the chapter with key terms that you should have learned as you've digested through the topics and questions. Now the AP style, and this is some short answer questions, and then it ends here, right? Thinking as an historian. So we just wanted to flip through it and get an overview. And the next thing that you're going to do is you're going to build out an outline. So the way that an outline works is that it's structured in the same way as the bold text is structured in the in the text. So I have this neat little thing that just allows me to snap it over. So outline and notes. So the big thing here, so the highest level of organization is the cultures of Central and South America. And then I'm going to go into this option that allows me to, I don't want to do a bulleted list. I'm going to do one that allows me to see different levels of organization pretty easily. So I'll do this one. So under cultures of Central, so I noticed that this is actually the same typeface. So it's going to be cultures of North America here. I scroll down. Okay, so now this language section is underneath the cultures of North America. So what I do is I go into that thing that I was just at here, boom, language, skip a line, Southwest settlements, skip a line, Northwest settlements, Great Plains, Midwest settlements, Northeast settlements. Seeing the pattern here. This is like so that you can see the patterns, get another overview of the topics. Once I practice this in I practiced this in a few chapters in this book already, and it took me about 5 to 6 minutes each time. So now you move towards exploration. So you see here that this goes actually, what I do is I can press Shift Tab, or no, I hit backspace, sorry. Europe moves towards exploration. Again, I'm going to use my level of organization one here, improvements in technology, let's say tech, religious conflict. Okay, and again, this is nested inside of that. So I'm going to go fix Catholic victory in Spain. Pull down, Protestant revolt in Northern Europe. Okay, so now it's going all the way back to this big bold text. I'm going to go expanding trade. Down, new routes. Slave trading. African resistance. Okay, so here's where I messed up a little bit, because if I look at developing nation states is under expanding trade, but it's not as big as these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these smaller. Can I do that? What I'll do, I'll redo it so that it does it like this. So like this. So this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. This looks more like an outline. Whoops. Europe expand, Europe moves towards Protestant revolt. Expanding trade is all the way back here. Expanding trade, new routes, African resistance. Boom. Okay, I'll just say that's it. I know that's a minor one. And it's not letting me. It's trying to like, there we go. All right, so expanding trade, developing nation states. And then our early explorations is back here. Columbus's legacy. Changes. Dividing the Americas is not under, or it's under early exploration, so I got to put dividing the Americas. Spanish exploration and conquest. English claims. French claims. Dutch claims. Spanish settlements in North America. Florida. New Mexico. California. Okay. European treatment of Native Americans. Spanish policy. Man, Bartolome de las Casas. De las Casas. Valladolid debate. English policy. French policy. Native American reaction. And that's it. Okay, so now that you've outlined the chapter, which might not take that long to do, Then you're going to go back and just take notes on the main ideas here. So if we go back up to languages, so in the text it says cultures of Central and South America. Let's see. The native population was concentrated in three highly developed civilizations. The Mayas built remarkable cities, and several centuries after decline from Central America developed a powerful empire. Um, Dominating the Incas and based in Peru, developed a vast empire in South America. All three civilizations developed highly organized societies, carried on extensive trade, and created calendars that were based on accurate cultivated crops. Okay, so cultures like the Aztecs built complex societies and based on trade. I don't say based on trade. Built complex societies, um, cultivated crops based on stable food supplies. Corn. The Indians called it maize. And potatoes for the Incas. Yeah, potatoes are native to South America. Cultures in North America. The population in the region of North Mexico may have been anywhere between under 1 million and more than 10 million. Wow. In general, native societies in this region were smaller and less sophisticated than those. One reason for this was how slowly the cultivation spread northward. Okay, so had less complex societies, whatever that's supposed to mean. I guess large, if they're trying to say that, had smaller, larger, less in scale, because of the slow, uh, slow movement of corn cultivation north. Uh, Societies disappeared for reasons that are not well understood. By the time of Columbus, most people in the Americas, in that what is now the United States and Canada, lived in semi-permanent settlements in groups seldom exceeding 300 people. Wow. The men made tools, hunted for game, while women gathered plants and nuts, such as corn, maize, beans, tobacco. Okay. Um, uh, had an unknown decline in population before 1492. Okay, language. Based on these similarities, the cultures of the American Indians were diverse. For example, the Spanish, English, all Europeans part of just one language family, constituted more than 20 language families. So, had diverse languages, 20 families, and 400 distinct languages. Okay, so once you've worked through the entire chapter, so again, I'm basically reading a paragraph, and after I read a paragraph, I'm just putting something that stuck out, the most important piece of information here. What you do now, after you do that, is you write down questions, which then are answered in here. So, for example, right here, you could ask the question, how were Central and South American Native Americans different from ones from North America, right? And here we can tell the difference. Our notes would tell us the answer here on the right. And you could do this. You could say, what were two reasons for European motivations for exploration? Uh, Down here, really, really important. What are the major differences between Spanish, English, and French policy towards Native Americans? Right? You can ask those questions. And then down here, you'd write a 2-sentence summary. Maybe you'd make a claim about how uh, the diversity of Native American societies before the Columbian Exchange, and then you could talk about how different with the different imperial goals for the different European policies led to different interactions between different Native American groups, right? So that would be a general way of approaching it. So this is obviously the most labor intensive piece, but there's in note taking, there's this thing called um, process and product. So the process of taking notes and thinking through these ideas and coming up with summaries is going to help you absorb the information. And then the product is that after you've completed all this, you'd have uh, a set of notes, which is, I mean, if you're doing it digitally, it's searchable, and that you could reference back to as many times as you need. So this is the big heavy lifting that you're going to do for the homework, and these are due on the Tuesday nights uh, before we get into topics during the week. So I hope this was a helpful explanation, and we'll be working through this pretty consistently throughout the chapters. All right. Thank you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.